Okay, I'm back. Now I need to edit. I know I was just smashing the two videos together, but still. It's extra steps and it takes a long time. So anyway, Emerald Mermaid is what I worked on most of the time that I was at the retreat. I'm stitching her on this dark blue fabric. It's just a wishelt, which means you can see right through it. I felt like a lot of progress on her. I did a lot over in that tail. Like most of that was from the retreat. I love the way she's looking. The only change I'm making, so there's this really dark green in her that in her body is mostly bordered by a krynic. So I'm not worried about the fact that you can't see it. And in person you can see it a lot better, but on camera you definitely can't. There's also that dark green color in a lot of the like seaweed that wraps around her. So I've subbed that out for a water lily where I put in here. It's gonna make the shading of the seaweed different, but I'm hoping it will still look good. So that's the only change I've made. And I really like how she's coming along so far. And I'm in the mood for her, so I am going to leave her out because I will probably be stitching her later. So I also, at the retreat, worked on a couple of other things. This huge bag I need to unpack. I worked just a tiny bit on Elizabeth. Probably shouldn't have taken that whole thing out. The photo slipped out so nicely. This is Elizabeth. This is the piece I'm working on practicing my sewing method, holding 2 strands. So this is where she is. And she's huge. This is on a Color and Cotton Fabric of the Month that I got quite some time ago. Obviously I jump around all over the place stitching her. I don't know, she'll be done when she's done. I pull her out when I'm in the mood to work on stitching sewing method using 2 strands. I was assured by my table mates that the X's don't look as bad as I think they do. So I'm gonna keep working on it because it is a heck of a lot faster doing sewing method. It's not my preferred method. I don't mind it. But sometimes I also don't want to do sewing method. Like sometimes I'm in the mood to stitch two-handed on a frame, or to hold a Q-snap and just poke and stab with one hand. I find it enjoyable to poke and stab with one hand. So even though it's slow, I still do it sometimes. Okay, so the only other thing I stitched on at the retreat was I wanted to start my Teresa Wensler Noah's Ark. I think this piece is beautiful. All of these animals are over 1. And then when I saw that this one has no blends, that blew me away. I had no idea that Teresa Wensler had ever designed something without blends. But I thought it would make a good, retreat stitching piece. I did start it, but I am going to restart it. Unfortunately, when I pulled it out, I had measured. I find the kit fabric, so for like the Teresa Wensler, Mirabilia, and Lavender and Lace kits that I have bought, I have found that the fabric often, the problem I think usually with it is that it doesn't have enough margin around the edges. I tend to prefer bigger margins. Like I like a 3-inch margin on each of the sides. Sometimes I've had them only have a 1-inch margin, which to me is not nearly enough. Even if it had a 2-inch margin on something like a Teresa Wensler that I know I might be stitching for more than a decade, I'm going to want a bigger margin. So I had measured the fabric to make sure it was big enough, and it was. But then when I pulled it out and started stitching, so I got in this top line of stitching, and I've actually trimmed up the fabric since then. So my fabric was square, but by square, I mean like the piece of fabric was cut square, but it's warped. So the top edge was not even with the weave of the fabric. It was like at an angle. So once I got that top line of stitching in, it was obvious that it was off from like the cut edge of the fabric by quite a lot. And I started really looking, and I realized how warped the fabric is. I don't know how easy it's going to be to tell on camera, but like if I hold it up, I don't know what the best way is to kind of show you guys. If I hold it up so that that top line of stitching is straight, the fabric like leans off to my left as it goes down. And so Sunday morning I went ahead and put in a little vertical line of stitches, which was Catherine's suggestion. It was a good suggestion. And again, I don't know how easy it's going to be to tell on camera, but like this should be, these two lines of stitching should be at a right angle, and they're not. They're definitely at an acute angle. They're pinched closer together than they should be. It's very obvious in person. I feel like it is not showing up well on camera. So this is a very warped piece of fabric. Oh, it's so bad. So bad. You can kind of see really well there. It's very warped. It's possible that washing it and blocking it will fix it. I hate throwing out fabric. I really do. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to wash it and block it and see if that helps. But even if it does help, I'm just going to keep this to use for smalls. I mean, it's Monaco, and I love Monaco. It's like an antique white. I can fit a ton of smalls on this fabric. I'm not going to stitch a Teresa Wensler on it. I would just be too worried that by the time I was done, it would be wonky and it wouldn't look right. I'm not going to put that much work in, only to have it, be ruined. So anyway, I did start it, but I'm going to have to restart it. I should leave that fabric somewhere so I don't forget to do that. Okay, so, oh, there's all kinds of stuff in here I need to show you guys. Oh my goodness. Well, let's talk about the freebie table for a minute. Oh my goodness. So it was at the end of the day or near the end of the day on Sunday, and actually everybody from my table had already left. And they made an announcement like, hey, there's still a lot of stuff on the freebie table and we don't want to have to take it with us. They were asking people to pick stuff up if they could, so that they didn't have to take care of it themselves, which, I mean, I feel like that came out wrong. I don't blame them. They didn't want to have to worry about it. So I was like, oh, I haven't even been to the freebie table. I'll go see what's there. And there were about a dozen of us who kind of, beelined right over there. I picked up this magazine. I love old magazines, although this one isn't like super old. This is 2002. I guess it's 21 years ago. I guess it's kind of old. I usually think of magazines from the 80s and 90s as like older. Anyway, I love this little girl with a kite that's right on the cover. So I picked that up. Some of these are just patterns, so I can't show you. I got a couple of other magazines. I just love, I like reading through them and like browsing through them, and several of them have smalls in them that I'd enjoy doing. I picked up this Norman Rockwell book. Does it have all of these? I'm trying to see. So it actually has 4 designs in there. It doesn't just have this one. It has these 2. So I don't actually care as much for this one. Although, Maggie, hey, Kitschy Whips, for some reason, this makes me think of you. I don't know what that means, but it makes me think of you. Like, it kind of reminds me of, like, 80s kitsch, and, like, it makes me think of you. And I don't care as much for this one, but I really like this one and this one. And they're all 4 are in there. So that's why I grabbed that. There's a couple, like I said, that I'm flipping through here. There's a couple that don't have like a cover photo, so I can't show you. I picked up this one by Thomas Kincaid, or based on his artwork. Okay, I've never seen Thomas Kincaid before. Apparently that's what he looks like. I wouldn't see him and automatically think artist. But that's cool. Very successful commercial artist, that's for sure. This was on there. Victorian Christmas. It was a free chart at some point. I picked that up. So, oh my goodness. There's a lot in here. I have, excuse me. Let me just say, I would not have done this if anyone else up there seemed interested. So this was another cross-stitch magazine. I would not have done this if anybody else up there was interested. Oh, here's the, okay. This one's in, I like Williamsburg, Colonial Williamsburg. That's one of the buildings there. And I'm thinking about, I might do that for my mother-in-law at some point. She lives in Virginia and loves it there. Okay, I picked up a stack of Paul Levons. And I swear, if anybody else, I only own a couple Paul Levons, and I kind of came to them like later in life, right? If anybody else had wanted any of these, I would have gladly left them for them, and probably if the retreat organizers hadn't announced like, hey guys, please like take stuff, we don't have to pack it all up, I also probably would not have taken all these Paul Levons. But I know you can get them on the secondary market, but like to have to like get each of these individually on eBay would have been a lot. So anyway, I went ahead and built up my stash of Paul Levons, which makes me very happy. This was not my aesthetic when I first started stitching, but has definitely become more so. And I particularly like I really like the porch scenes a lot, and I like the ones that have, or the designs that have quilts in them, since I am a quilter. So I'm just gonna show you what I got. Oh my God, there's so many of them. It was really easy when I only had a couple of charts to remember which I had, but now that, and I didn't have any of these. Now that I've picked up a ton, I love this one. Love this one. This one's high on my list to do, and so is this one. There's like grandmother's flower garden, like English paper piece quilt, like I love doing. I had always kind of stayed away from all the wedding dress charts that Paul Levon did, because my wedding was not that whole like mother-daughter, like it was not good. But now that I have a daughter, I'm like, oh, but my daughter likes me. I like her. So I know that kind of, you know, a different, like this kind of thing was always very hard to look at when it was just me and my mom, because that's painful memories. But now that I have a daughter, I totally relate to this from the mother's standpoint. So I was really, especially this one, I was really happy to see so much Paul Levon. And I have no idea if any of these are like particularly sought after or anything. I love this one. I love the close-up of like the quilting and the flowers. I just was like, and there was a wonderful lady there with her daughter, and she knew I was like, oh, Paul Levon. And she was ahead of me. We were kind of like layers deep at the table. She was like handing all of the Paul Levons back to me. It was lovely. I like this one a lot. I like that there's like the scene out the window you can see. And I like the wallpaper. I like the way the wallpaper appears in some of her indoor scenes. I don't think there's any doubles here. Love this because it's the porch scene, outdoors. I love her porch scenes. Some of you who've been watching me, you know I'm working on finishing up her pattern, The Good Neighbors, that I bought on eBay. It was almost finished. I love this one. They're so good. They are so, so good. So I now have a stash of Paula Vaughn. That makes me very happy. I don't know where I'm going to put it right now, but... Okay, what else? There's all kinds of little doodads. Oh, I got to meet Melissa, Sheba Designs. I know I'm forgetting so much. So if you are somebody I am forgetting to mention, I apologize. It's just a lot to remember, but I genuinely apologize. I actually have a couple of these. These are from Ashley, Stitch and Shorty, who was at our table. She gave us each of these. They're adorable. I really, really like them. Floss rings. I've got another one too. I apologize if my dog's gonna start barking. Let's see what else I have in here to show. This was from Lisa Lost in Stitches. She came by our table and gave us the scissor fob, which I thought was lovely. What? Sorry, I'm like looking through as I'm going. So I got to meet, oh, and I have her bag. I'll show you that too. I got to meet Melissa, Sheba Design. She's going to be vending at the Queen City Stitch Retreat. She's going to be selling bags, but I hadn't gotten to meet her yet. So that was really lovely, and I got to spend some actual time with her too. I did the smalls exchange, and I don't know who did my small. I never managed to find her. I did find the woman that got my small, which was lovely. Sorry about all the rustling. So I did end up choosing my small based on the bag. This was, I loved the bag. It was, I thought, quite nice. So she made, I love it. Look at this. A little pincushion, so a little pillow. I'll use it as a pincushion. Well, I'll put it like with all my pincushions that I have on display. It says choose happy. It's adorable. And she's got all these tiny little buttons that are so cute on the little bulb pin. I love the back of it. It says Batik. She put trim on it. It's beautiful. If you're the person, and I'm assuming it's a woman, but it might not have been. If you're the person who made this, please tell me. I need to post it on Instagram and ask, because it's beautiful. And she put in these 3 color and cotton flosses that go very nicely with this. It's beautiful. It's so nicely done. So if you did this, please tell me, because I would love to thank you. I couldn't find like any names or anything in the bag. Freya, come on. Come on up here. Come. Come. My dog's whining. But she could just come up here to me. Come on. Come on. Come. She's gonna figure it out. So I have gifts and things that I purchased in this bag. Pardon me 1 minute. Nope, that's not gonna work. I'm trying to lure my dog up here, make a path for her to come in. Come on. Come. 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 No. Come. Come. No. Okay, she'll come over here if she wants to. She's just gonna have to deal. I'm sorry, I hope I'm not making any of you sick. I really don't want to have to do another cut in there. So I picked this up. Oh, I hope there's a tag in here. This was from one of the vendors. Oh no, it doesn't say who. Freya, no. No. I don't remember the name of the vendor. Oh, that makes me sad. So I love this fabric. It was a line called Quilt Fair, and that's why I absolutely could not resist it. That and the fact that she had a pincushion made up with a fabric as well. So I bought that. I just can't tell you who I bought it from. Come on. Well, you're fine. You can still come up. This was from, this was the retreat bag from Sheba Designs, from Melissa. I really wanted to get one of these, so I was very happy. Good girl. I was very happy to get one. I came down on, she was there on Saturday. I came down Saturday morning and there was like this crowd in the area where the vendors were. And I was like, what is going on? And then I realized it was people waiting in line for Melissa's bags. Those are really good. All right, did I finish talking about this? So Amanda, Lucky Chance Stitcher, made me this bag, which I love. That was so kind of her. She gave me a few other things too. It should be down in this other bag. Love it. Very happy to have that. Good girl. Thank you for coming up. So there were some, I'm trying to do this in like some semblance of an order. I feel like I'm failing. So this was the bag you could pre-order from the retreat. So they were not all the same. Like they all look like this, but they have different fabrics here. When you pre-ordered it, you could put in like if you had kind of color preferences or anything. So I actually put in what I didn't want. Like they had like an example of some of the bags in the picture when they sent out like the order form for it. And like I kind of pointed out what I didn't like about some of them, and this is perfect for me. This is I'm very, very happy with this. There's a tulip pink fabric in there even. It's perfect. I love it. I did go to Tiny Modernist. I know I have another Tiny Modernist chart in here somewhere, but I went to the Tiny Modernist booth and bought a couple of charts. I got this one, which is Nighttime Owl. So I've seen this before, and I have to say this picture doesn't do anything for me. Like thematically I like it. I like its elements, but it seems very kind of like dull somehow. But the model was there. The model does not look like the model. There's nothing dull about the model. The model, like by dull, I mean almost like muted color somehow. The model is vibrant and just stunning. It, like, she had a ton of models, and I was so happy to see that because this looked amazing in person. It blew me away. So I picked up this one and also this one, which is beautiful. I love it. And I'm thinking about you, Pages and Stitches, because there's a lot of mushrooms going on here. And I feel like, I feel like Kelly, Pages and Stitches, you would like this. If you're not watching Pages and Stitches, you might want to check her out too. She's got both quilting and Flosstube videos that are awesome. So, love her videos. Oh, here's the other Tiny Modernist. She also, I saw the, I was just going to get the two, and then I saw the model for this right near where she was taking payment, and couldn't resist. I'm a sucker for sheep, for quilts, for housewife chores. That's what I spend so much time doing. So pick that up too. I did buy, okay, Hand Dyed by Rolanda. I got to meet Rolanda. And it is Rolanda. She says she doesn't care. You can call her Rolanda, whatever. But we did talk to her. But she said that if I wanted anything, sorry for all the crinkly, she wasn't vending, but she said if there was anything I wanted from her website, from her Etsy store, to just let her know, and she'd deliver it to me there at the retreat. So, of course, I did. I actually felt like I was very responsible. I did not spend tons of money at the retreat and with the vendors. But I did order some things online. I'll talk about that later. Anyway, so this is called Nickel from Hand Dyed by Rolanda. I think it's a 28 count linen. Yes, 28 count linen. That's beautiful. I can totally see stitching a Mirabilia on this if the Mirabilia is small enough, because not all of them would fit on this, or like some Nora Corbetts. Some of the Halloween fairies might look really good on this. I think it's beautiful. And then she had this floss that blew me away. What's it called? Silver moss. Oh, like light blues and mossy greens. Oh, I love that. So I got a skein of that. And then I don't usually stitch on Lugana. I'm just more of a linen person. But I love her fabrics that have this sort of modeling. That's kind of like marbling, like swirly. Like, I love this. And I thought this piece was particularly beautiful. And it's a fat half. So, and need fat half for some Mirabilias. So, yeah, I picked this one up. It's 28 count, I think. Yeah, 28 count. I shouldn't say it's a fat half. It's not a fat half, but it's 25 by 26, which is big enough, right? For like those bigger, because Mirabilias don't take up like a full fat half, but a lot of them I want more than the 18 inches. So at 25 by 26, that gives me the width I need for Mirabilia. I'm gonna have an avalanche. To talk about that. This was the other fabric. So Leo and Roxy, or I don't understand how the name of the company is like working here. Freya, can you leave that alone? I know it is Leo and Roxy Floss, but then everything said Roxy Floss Company, so I don't know if they're like they switched their name. But I saw this one-of-a-kind fabric sitting on at their station. No, lay down. And couldn't resist. I love, like, it's beautiful, but then it has these like periodic kind of blotches of like a yellowy green. There's not a lot of that in there. There's just a little. And I just love the way it looks. So I picked that up. Kind of want to do everything that was in our goodie bag, like separately, you know. Amanda, Lucky Chance Stitcher, also gave me, I want to show the rest of what she gave me because it's beautiful. She gave me some floss drops, and she gave me these folding scissor, well, here, I gotta take everything out. These counting pins, which are beautiful. I can't believe she made these. They're beautiful. So Amanda, if you're watching, thank you so much, because that was awesome. And I'm gonna give the bag to my daughter. She loves like getting little bags. These folding scissors and scissor fob, and I love it. It was really lovely for her to do, and I really appreciated it. Oh, this goes with Melissa Shiva Designs project bag. It's one of those, they call it a thread bed. I got one of those to go with it. Freya, you are causing a lot of trouble, my dear. Okay, I think the rest of this is like gift bag stuff. So, gift bag from the retreat. We got this chart with floss to stitch it with, and I really like this needle minder. I think it's very nice. It's very shiny. It's very nice. I might stitch that sometime. I don't know. I don't mind stitching a Canadian thing. Oh, I guess my pupper just wanted to snuggle up against me. We got some charts in our goodie bag. We got this. And I think this is in there too. From Textured Treasures. This is Shakespeare's Peddler. And I might stitch them. I'm not like anti-sampler. It's just not usually my jam. I might change the verse if I do stitch that. We'll see. But I thought that was lovely. We got A Bird and Flowers. Who is this designed by? Anna Collado? I really like this. I will probably stitch this. And it comes with like an even smaller bonus chart that I think can be made into like a scissor fob. We got a little frog pin. We got a little bit of candy. We got a nice little collapsible Ort container, which I thought was cute. And I think people got different kinds. I don't know that they all had exactly the same fabrics. We got a, I'll take this out of the package if I can. Oh, there we go. I had to tear through it. There wasn't like an obvious way to open it. I really like this. This was from the sewing shop. It's a little like stamp in there. I thought it was very pretty. It's a needle minder. I like that. We got just a little snowman needle minder from Rocky Mountain Needle Minders. And these people, most of them were vendors there. And I guess she has different vendors each weekend because there were 2 weekends. From Kimat Designs, we got a thing of soak, which is like a type of wash. I don't usually use it, and there's you can use that as like a zipper pull, which is cute. I have a coupon. I don't want to show you. So this is from Sheba Designs. There's a bunch of buttons in here and a zipper pull, and there's a coupon code, but I don't want to show you the coupon code because it's for Stitch North attendees. And then, okay, so the vendor that stood out to me the most, because I wasn't familiar with most of these vendors. So like I know about Melissa and Sheba Designs, and I knew about how embarrassing is that to blank? Tiny Modernist. I knew about Tiny Modernist. And I knew I loved their stuff, but there were a lot of vendors that were new to me. And this is the one that stood out to me the most of those that were new to me. This is Brennan Needle. Brennan Needle? I guess brennanneedle.com is their website, and they have an Instagram. So we got a small chart to stitch, which I think I will. And we got this lovely floss. It's called Land and Sea. It's beautiful. I mean, it screams mermaid. And then a small piece of Aida with a needle that we can stitch the design on, I'm assuming. And the fabric is lovely. And I looked at their fabrics. Their fabrics were lovely. She didn't have any 28 count linen, which her designs I would be more inclined to buy for Mirabilia. She didn't have any 28 count linen with her, which is why I didn't buy like a bigger piece of her linen. But if she had any, I probably would have bought it. She dyed a lot of Aida in very pretty colors. So if you're an Aida stitcher, you might want to check out Brennan Needle. Okay, one highlight. I'm going to show this. I'm not going to say who I got it from, because I don't want anyone else to harass her. But you know who you are, and you should know I am forever grateful. So the last Mirabilia that I was still trying to get a copy of, I'm just going to show you. So I got this. The kit is gone. It's just the pattern, which I'm not going to show you the pattern. But the pattern is in here. It's completely highlighted, but also completely legible. So the previous pattern that I had for this was not legible. It was a legit pattern, but it was so marked up it was not readable. You know who you are, and I love you. Thank you so much. This was legit the last one that I was still on the lookout for and wanting to get. So thank you. I don't know what else to say about that. It's just very kind and very generous of somebody to have let me have that. Okay. There's a lot. We move some of this. So that's everything I think that I got like at the retreat, but I've had a few other stash acquisitions as well, which I don't normally show, but I guess I've had kind of a lot of them. I got 2 Dimensions kits actually got them off of Amazon. So this one I have seen a picture of many, many times. Excuse me while I get set. It's popped up on eBay many times. And I thought maybe it was a new release, but I wasn't seeing it at like 123 Stitch or like anywhere else. So I've also been burned before on eBay. I bought a kit on eBay once that turned out to be pirated, a Dimensions Gold. So yeah, it wasn't like super comfortable just ordering this from them. You know, and I couldn't tell if the seller like was, you know, legit or not. This finally showed up on Amazon, and I was like, you know what, I'm just, you know, it wasn't super expensive. I'm just gonna get it and hope for the best. It's legit. I don't understand or know why it's not showing up everywhere, because I feel like people would be all over this. Amanda, Lucky Chance Stitcher, was saying that she, I think, had talked to one, I hope I'm getting the story right. I apologize, Amanda, if I'm not. That she had talked to 123 Stitch, and they said it's not even like in the catalog for Dimensions that they can order. So I don't know what the deal is, but I was able to get it on Amazon. Even just searching for like Dimensions Gold Collection Kit, this showed up on the first page of search results. It's beautiful. It's called Summer Fairy. And then I had never quite pulled the trigger on getting Spring Fairy. I have the winter one and the autumn one. I had never quite pulled the trigger on getting this one. But once I had this one, I was like, well, then I obviously need the matching set. So I went ahead and bought this one too. So I got those. And I find the Dimensions kits very reasonable in price. Like, very reasonable. I also went down a little bit of a rabbit hole on Mercari. Well, and eBay a little bit. I learned about Mercari from Maggie Kitschy Whips. There's just like, if you're not familiar with it, it's just a site where you can sell, you know, things secondhand. But sometimes we get lucky there. I picked this up. This is Peter Rabbit. I think this one was eBay. Peter Rabbit Eating Radishes. I have a thing for Beatrix Potter. Like the art especially. I just love it so much. So I saw this and couldn't help myself. It comes with like a mat and everything, which makes it easier. So if there's a mat, I really hate the glass smushing the stitches. There's no beads or anything in here, so the mat would keep it from doing that. So that's actually very convenient and lovely. And then this is very 80s, but I love it. Also makes me think of Kitschy Whips. Love Makes My House a Home. I love it. So it's just an old kit. Somebody was, I mean, I just got it for like a few bucks. Somebody was selling, and I don't think I'd seen it before. I love the border. Of course, I can't see part of the border in here. It's all sealed up. It doesn't matter. It's beautiful. I love the flowers vining around. It's very hokey and very beautiful. I love the little porch and the little house and the little bunnies. So I got that kit. And then I'm going to show a little bit of quilting haul. It like quickly, if you really don't want to watch. You don't have to, obviously, but so these, I really want to be able to say which shops I stopped at. I stopped at, I loved this shop, Concord Quilting Studio. So I was driving up like the western side of Pennsylvania and up into New York State. These two shops I stopped at were like right over the border into New York State. So Concord Quilting Studio, I loved. It's in like this like old house and kind of like, okay, I don't know what to, in a rural area, I didn't know what to expect. As I got there, there was a lady coming out of the house with a quilt they had long-armed for her. So, I was like, okay, at least I think I'm in a legit place. I was a little bit nervous. But they had some patterns I had never seen before, and they had some models on the wall that were beautiful. So this one I got, they had actually like a partial model hanging on the wall. My husband loves sunflowers, and I can make this with fabrics from my stash. It's just called Scrappy Sunflowers by Lila Boutique. They also design fabrics. I just saw it hanging on the wall and was like, God, my husband would love that. It's just beautiful, and I can pull from my stash what I have. So I got that. I also got, this is from Prairie Grass Patterns by April Rosenthal, pineapples. We got like a pineapple thing going on at our cabin. My husband loves like, well, we all love tropical stuff, and my husband is really into like kitschy tropical things. So again, I didn't buy fabric to do this. I could just pull from my stash. I'm not going to start this, right away or anything, but I hadn't seen it before and I really liked it. So it looked like a fun thing to sew up. I also saw this and kind of fell in love. So this is Hello Spring from Sweetwater. I've used some of their fabrics for something else, but I'm not going to use their fabrics for this. I'm going to do it in different fabrics. So this is done with Spring Chicken. They're a line called Spring Chicken. And then a background. I have plenty of backgrounds in the house. I'll pull from what I have. You basically need a layer cake and a charm pack to do that quilt. Look what I have. I picked up these to do it with. The line is Wild Blossoms. So I've been this is a newer line. I've been very drawn to this line, but at the same time, and I bought some individual cuts of a couple of the fabrics. I really like the way these fabrics look. Well, I love this print just in and of itself. I could like make curtains with this. But in terms of how like the rest of the fabrics are, I like the way they look in small pieces and all together more than, but like if I pick up one fabric off the bolts, I don't love it the same way. I just love the way it looks with all of the others. I don't know if I'm making any sense. So I've been hesitant to buy, like yardage of it, or I didn't want to buy a fat quarter bundle of it, not knowing what I was going to do with it. But since this pattern just takes the charm pack and the layer cake and then some background, I was like, well, let's do this, since I don't want to use Spring Chicken. And there's some applique and some embroidery in some of those blocks. I think that might look really good, and even if it doesn't look really good, it's like the sort of experiment I'll enjoy doing. So that's what those are for. And I met some lovely ladies at that shop. They were very, very nice. I bought, sorry about some of the crinkling and stuff. I bought, these were my like impulse buys. I bought a charm pack and a jelly roll of fruit cocktail, and I actually enjoyed the rest of my drive. I basically spent designing a quilt in my head to do with these and some background. So that's a thing that I'm going to be doing. I'll show in my quilting videos as I progress on it. And then they gave me a mini charm pack of fruit cocktail, like just because. That was a lovely little free gift to get. And then I also just picked up a charm pack of Emma. I don't know what I'll do with it. I might make a table runner. They're lovely. They're just, I don't know, soft and lovely fabrics. I didn't really want to, you know, buy like a fat quarter bundle or anything of this. I know this has been a popular line, but I thought, you know what, charm pack would be nice. I can do something like fun and small and nice with this without investing in a ton of it. Ooh. So the other quilt shop I went to is called Needle in a Haystack Fabric Outlet Barn. So Needle in a Haystack, I think, is also the name of a cross-stitch store in California. Correct me if I'm wrong. I don't even know if they're open anymore. But this is in Sherman, New York. Yeah, also called Needle in a Haystack. Also, like, very rural area. And it looks awesome. Like, it's very intriguing to me. And it looked like a great setup. You basically rent the place out for a long weekend, and you can do your own, like, quilting retreat there. People were doing that when I swung through on Thursday. They were sewing away and seemed to be having a great time. So it was kind of like just save my, you know, as a mental note for future. That could be something really fun to do sometime. Of course, I need enough quilty friends to want to come do it with me, who are like close enough. So there were several fabrics that I got just to have. So there's a retreat center, which just looked very comfortable, and it's a beautiful area. Like, it's just forest and farmland, and this really nice tiny town, like right down the street from this place. But then they also have a small shop where you can get any, you know, it's very small, but they certainly carry all the essentials you might need while you're there, you know, at a retreat. They've got some fabric, not a ton of fabric, but the fabric they have I thought was lovely. And then, you know, some notions and things should you know, run short or something or need something while you're there. So I just got a half yard of these. I love these little goats. I don't think I've seen them before. And I've been collecting kind of 30s prints for a long time. I just loved this. No particular reason, just did. Hexies. Had to get some of the Hexie fabric. I bought some other larger cuts of fabric from this line. I feel like this isn't usually my thing, but I loved the way the colors blended in this. So I got a half yard of that. And then I got some larger cuts. Let me just get these out of here all at once. I got some larger cuts of some other things. These are, I think, mostly 2-yard cuts. So I got 2 colors of this. I think these will make for great backgrounds, especially for Halloween quilts and things. Got those. I got these stars, which I think are beautiful. I'm a sucker for teal. I love the owls. There's other animals in here too, birds and things, but I really love the owls in particular. And then I got, I think most of these are Andover, but not all of them. I got some of these really soft fabrics. If you watched my last video, and especially my last quilting video, some of these are fabrics that I think will go really well with some of those like low volume and kind of medium tone or light toned fabrics that I'm collecting for a quilt that I want to do. That was really pretty. There's Queen Anne's lace. I love Queen Anne's lace. Butterflies, and I think I actually got some fabrics from this line. And the last time I went to a quilt shop, it just, or at least they are gonna coordinate, look very good together. And then this one, I'm thinking of you, Kelly, Pages and Stitches. So it's hard to tell on camera. These fairies are metallic. They're silver, and I'm not usually like a metallic person, but I am much more a silver person than a gold person. I mean, I think the entire fabric is beautiful, but those silver fairies are just, they're fantastic. Let me see, what is this? What is this fabric? It's Lewis and Irene Celtic Fairies is the name of the fabric. If you also love it and want to try to hunt some of it down, it's a different kind of fairy. So pretty. And that's it. That's what I bought. That's what I did. I had so much fun. It was a great trip. It was like relaxing. I got some stitching done. It was just fun. It was really fun. I'm really glad I went. Somehow I feel like I'm forgetting a bunch of things. And if I didn't mention you, and I should have, I apologize. Trying to remember to get everything in here after a retreat, I find is very difficult. I hope you guys enjoy your stitching. Should I be like doing an update on the Queen City Stitch Retreat? I don't think so. I don't think I have anything to say. Maggie and I are plugging away. Kitschy Whips, Maggie and I are plugging away, trying to get things ready. I'm going down there in June to spend a weekend with her and try to get some of the things that we can finalized. Yeah, that's it. If you have any questions or any comments, please feel free to leave them down below. And yeah, I hope you guys are having fun stitching and enjoying whatever crafting or making time you can. I'll see you guys again soon. Bye.